The Indiana Fever just won a big-time game against the Phoenix Mercury. So I decided that it's time we go back, look at that first half, analyze what happened and how the Indiana Fever had such a big-time lead. Now, before we get into the video, I must say I acknowledge the fact that the Indiana Fever almost gave up their big-time lead in that fourth quarter. And we will make an entire separate video about that I will post later on today if you guys want it. But for now, let's just stay on the positive side of things and analyze what exactly the Indiana Fever did to totally destroy the Phoenix Mercury in that first half. Now check out this first play. Notice how Caitlyn Clark sets the tone for the entire game here. What a big time play by Caitlyn Clark. And what I really want you to notice is the fact that Aliyah Boston sets a really decent screen. I love what I just saw right here. That screen was a really good screen. Caitlyn Clark comes off and she shoots a daring shot. What I like to see from Caitlyn Clark is her shooting those shots, those college shots, those dumb shots. I like to see that from her because she's an amazing shooter. And I think when she first got into the league, she almost had a muzzle on her mouth and she wasn't shooting any of the shots she was shooting in college. And she's been trying to be this playmaking girl. And yeah, over the last 10 games, she's averaging 10.4 assists per game. But Caitlyn Clark right now, as of late, has been shooting crazy shots. She's been shooting daring shots. She's been shooting those Klay Thompson shots, those shots that you don't think about it, those unconscious shots as the Warriors would call it. That's what you have to shoot if you want to be a great shooter. Caitlyn Clark is shooting them and good things are happening. Now, what I want you to notice from this play is that even though things are going south, they just keep moving and good things happen. Look at how Caitlyn Clark nearly gets a turnover there, but Kelsey Mitchell just keeps cutting. And when she cuts, Caitlyn Clark finds her. Like, don't stop moving. Don't look around. Don't sit there and look at Caitlyn Clark dribble. Don't sit there and look at Kelsey Mitchell dribble. Don't sit there and look at Aliyah Boston dribble the ball down in the post and back down her defender. Like, no, move around. Keep moving because something will happen, especially when you play with the point guard who can see the floor in the way Caitlyn Clark sees the floor. She's going to find you if you're open, so keep moving. And that's what I really like from this play. I like the motion. When Caitlyn Clark gets to the paint, good things happen. She's either going to get a layup or she's going to get a kick out. She might miss a layup, but usually you're going to get a layup or a kick out. I like how Katie Lou Samuelson moved out of Caitlyn Clark's way. I think that was Katie Lou Samuelson who just moves from that wing over to the top of the key to give Caitlyn Clark the space to do what she needs to do. She took her defender off the dribble, did a pump fake, and it was an easy layup for her. Like, just go down to the paint. I like to see Caitlyn Clark getting downhill because she might miss, but usually you're going to draw a foul if you go up straight with it. And if not, you get an easy layup. Just be strong with it. Be courageous. I love to see it. Now, just check out this beautiful pick and roll by Caitlyn Clark and Aliyah Boston. Earlier in this year, I talked about how the pick and rolls between Caitlyn Clark and Aliyah Boston were terrible. Aliyah Boston is finally learning how to run a pick and roll. Notice how when two players go with Caitlyn Clark, Aliyah Boston goes straight to the opening where there is no defender. When you get an opening, roll to where the opening is. That is what a roller is supposed to do. Anyway, on to the next play. Now check out the good things that happen on this play. Off a rebound, they give the ball to Caitlyn Clark. She pushes the pace. And notice who's running. Aliyah Boston's running. And she runs the floor like a running back. I love what I just saw from Aliyah Boston. Amazing pass, amazing play, whatever. That was a difficult shot as well around the rim. But man, can we just talk about the fact that Aliyah Boston's running? Caitlyn Clark runs the floor. She is a player that needs to push the pace. Even Caitlyn Clark herself. You want me to back up all the videos I've been making as of recently? Caitlyn Clark herself said that the pace that the Indiana Fever have been playing with is contributing to the vast amount of assists that she's had over the past 10 games. It's the truth. I'm not just sitting here saying stuff to y'all. It's pushing the pace. Pushing the pace is what is allowing her to get all these assists. And what I love to see is Aliyah Boston running the floor, getting up the floor with Caitlyn Clark. We've seen it over the past 5-6 games, but I just like to see it consistently. Like, she's continuing to run the floor and good things are happening from that. You're wondering why they're winning? Well, everything's running through Caitlyn Clark, but everything can't run through Caitlyn Clark if her teammates aren't running with her. Like, Caitlyn Clark is a player that wants to push the pace. She needs to go fast. For the offense running through Caitlyn Clark to be effective, you have to run with her. And I'm loving the fact that they're running with her right now. I can't help but stress that. This could be the cleanest play I've seen between Caitlyn Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. Somebody needs to slow this down and put it in an edit. Off the rebound, Katie Lou Samuelson decides to bring the ball up the court. She slows it down, waits for Caitlyn Clark, gives it to her. Caitlyn Clark calls a screen for herself. And I feel like she almost passed up a layup here. I didn't see the vision. Caitlyn Clark penetrates the defense, comes off, and Kelsey Mitchell cuts when she's going up the wing. What a play. What a pass. I don't even know how that was possible. That was beautiful, man. That was literally beautiful. That was some Steve Nash, Rajon Rondo type of passing, dishing, playmaking. That was beautiful. I love what I just saw. Notice how they're pushing the pace here off an inbound. Running the floor and pushing the pace is something that needs to happen even if the other team is scoring. You want to get stops and be able to push the pace off a rebound, but even if you ain't got no defense, you just got to run faster than the other team. That's what it means to play fast. The Indiana Pacers had no defense over this past season, yet they had the greatest offense in regular season history. How did that happen? It's because they were pushing the pace. Now, they were pushing the pace not off of rebounds all the time because they weren't getting no doggone stops on the other end, but they were just simply running faster than you, no matter what the circumstance was. That's what I love to see from the Indiana Fever. Also, I have to give credit where credit is due. I love the fact that Kelsey Mitchell does run the floor here, and she's running fast. They're all getting the memo. Hey, we should run faster than the other team. I think Coach Sides is actually instilling that into this team, so I can't help but be proud. Now, this play doesn't lead to anything as the ball stays on that side of the court, but I just want to say, look at this effort by Lexi Hull. This is what wins games. They're playing with defensive intensity, and they're playing with effort. When you have a girl like Lexi Hull coming into the game with that energy, I'm telling you, things shake. Lexi Hull was 0 for 7 from the field in this game, and I think her plus minus was like minus 16. But it's some things that the box score just cannot tell you. You have to watch these games. If you want to look at how the Indiana Fever got their big time lead early, she was a part of it. Her energy, her effort was a part of it. She played amazing. And when you have players coming in, those GP2 type of players, if you watch the Warriors, Gary Payton II, he is just one of those guys that just get from one side of the court to the other side of the court. Those Marcus Smart players, those Derek White players, those players who just run the floor, who just get down and get dirty. Those type of guys are the ones that win you games. Lexi Hull is one of those type of players, and she does things that the box score just does not show. This is probably one of the better actions I've seen Chrissy Side to run all year. Amazing screen by Caitlyn Clark. Kelsey Mitchell comes off, is patient, waits for her shot, and she shoots it. That's what I love to see. I love to see Kelsey Mitchell playing off ball. I don't know if you guys do. I don't like when Kelsey Mitchell has the ball in her hands doing all this dribble, hocus pocus crap. I like to see her come off a screen, catch the ball, easy catch and shoot shots, or cut to the paint, easy layups. That's where I like to see her thrive. In this game, there were a lot of times where Kelsey Mitchell was just doing a little bit too much. But in this game, Kelsey Mitchell did have a lot of moments where she had catch and shoot shots, or she was cutting to the paint. We've already shown some of those of her cutting to the paint. She does seem to thrive when she's playing off ball. She does do too much here and there, but if she would just stick to playing off ball, good things will happen for her. Now, a lot of these plays can go back to the fact that the Phoenix Mercury were shorthanded in this game, but this play is just a lack of effort all around by the Phoenix Mercury. This is just terrible. They're trying to bring the ball up the court, and what the heck kind of pass is that? Trash. But what a steal by Katie Lou Samuelson. What effort I like to see it from my Indiana Fever players, because look, man, at the end of the day, you got to take advantage of what the other team is giving you. If injuries are on the scouting report, you ought to make use of that. If you know you're playing a team that does not push the pace in the way you do, then you better play with some real energy and effort. When this game started going down, when it started going downhill and the Indiana Fever gave up their lead, and we will make a video on it later today, what happened was they stopped playing with effort. They stopped playing with energy. They stopped giving the ball to Caitlyn Clark to push the pace. They started giving her the ball in a half-court set, and really she wasn't even getting in a half-court set. It was just they slowed everything down. When they keep things fast-paced, good things happen. So notice how they're playing with energy, they're playing with effort, they're playing with drive, and that's giving them a big-time 10-point lead. Notice this next play. I really like it because NaLyssa Smith shoots a shot that she usually does not shoot. The defense is always giving her an open three-point shot. So please, NaLyssa, please start hitting one of 3 of them. If NaLyssa Smith can start hitting her three-point shots at a higher rate, good things will happen for this team. She's always given open three-point shots, literally always. So I like to see her shooting threes. And I mean, if even NaLyssa Smith shooting threes, I don't know what the defense is going to do. I mean, if NaLyssa Smith is hitting open threes, like, it's really no way you can guard this team because she is always the weak link. She's the one that the defense just leaves wide open and allows them to play defense in a more effective way on the Indiana Fever. But when she's hitting threes, I mean, it makes the defense have to scramble. Notice on this play how Caitlyn Clark does not push the pace off of the inbound, but she slows it down. She sees something. She waits for her screen. She calls another screen. And notice how she just gets right downhill. She gets right downhill. On the Phoenix Mercury side of things, this play was just terrible because Brittany Griner didn't switch. I think Brittany Griner should have switched. The defender fought over that screen by the Indiana Fever player, and since they did not switch, it just allowed Caitlyn Clark to have an easy lane to the basket. I think in hindsight, they would have liked to go back and have Brittany Griner switch, and I think she would have had a better chance to block that shot at the rim. Now notice this play. This is almost the insurance for the Indiana Fever. They usually use it in the wrong way, but it is insurance. You can always go to Aliyah Boston on that low post and let her go to work. Always. What I don't like is when they go to this religiously in a quarter and then like it just messes up your pace, and that's how a team comes back from down like 30 points. You know, it's when you just stop doing what got you into the game. You're pushing the pace and then you start going to this all the time. But Aliyah Boston, she does, and she is just a player that can get the ball down there and just go to work. She can just go to work. She just goes to work down there. So at the end of the day, this is the insurance play for the Indiana Fever, and I like when they go to it every once in a while because it keeps the defense on their toes. Like, you can't just play the same way every time come down, or the defense is going to be able to predict it. So what I like to see is the diversity, and sometimes just give the ball down to Aliyah Boston and let her go to work. Now look at this steal by Lexi Hull. She just takes the ball from that defender. It's a matter of effort. They played with more effort than the Phoenix Mercury did in that first half. Now the second half, that's debatable. But in the first half, yes, the Indiana Fever played with way more effort than the Phoenix Mercury did, and that is what gave them a big-time lead. That is what got them in the driver's seat. It's effort, energy, playing with effort. Look at this amazing defensive play by the Indiana Fever. Lexi Hull, she plays enough defense to be able to alter that pass just enough for Aliyah Boston to get that steal, and they run the floor. Do y'all see how fast Aliyah Boston is running? She is running this is what we did not see earlier in this year. She had it in her. This is why she was the Rookie of the Year. This is why she's an all-star. This is why she's going to go down as as long as she keeps playing with Caitlyn Clark. Because Aliyah Boston is running right now. This is what's going to set her apart. The three-point shot, that's cool. The fact that she has an amazing touch around the rim, that's cool. But if she can start running like this, she's running faster than freaking point guards, dog. What a pass. What a play. Alyssa Smith, easy layup. Good things happen when you run the floor. Notice this play. Caitlyn Clark is running faster than all of the defenders off an inbound. You can't make this stuff up. I'm not lying to y'all, bro. Caitlyn Clark, she's at her best when she's pushing the pace. This is what she needs to do. Like, give her the ball and let her just run the floor. I love to see it, and I love to see Caitlyn Clark getting downhill. By the way, like, seeing her get to the paint is amazing to me because Caitlyn Clark, even when that three-point shot is not falling, make those three-point shots easier by getting down low, by shooting a few mid-range shots here and there. You love to see it from Caitlyn Clark. Check out this next play. Notice how Caitlyn Clark is pushing the pace here, but then she slows it down and goes one-on-one. She takes her defender off the dribble, gets to the paint, easy and one opportunity. Those are back-to-back plays where Caitlyn Clark gets downhill. Good things are happening when she gets downhill because it makes the defense have to pull back from that perimeter on her because, hey, well, if we play so high up on that perimeter on Caitlyn Clark, she might blow by us. How about we step back a little bit? And then it allows Caitlyn Clark to get easier shots at the three-point line. So I love to see her getting downhill, big-time plays, and she's playing with effort. She's getting downhill, she's pushing the pace, and that is what is getting them the big-time lead. It starts with Caitlyn Clark. She's your point guard, obviously. Everything's going to start with her. Push the pace. She loves pushing the pace. But if you push the pace as her teammates, better things are going to happen. Now, this is the last play I'll show from that first half. Notice how Caitlyn Clark comes off that screen and Aliyah Boston just rolls right to the paint. I love to see Aliyah Boston running a pick and roll correctly. It's amazing. It's just amazing to see. That's the last play I'll show from the first half of this game. And yes, they do end up fumbling the lead in the second half, but the Indiana Fever do pull off the win. We'll talk about how they almost lost that game in that second half. For now, we're just going to end it off here, and I'll get back with y'all later. Nothing else to say. No main takeaways. We'll talk about that later on today. Peace out.